the ingredients I use, so make sure you use quality ingredients. If you want to make good chocolate, it's very simple. Just, use something that's high quality. Good cacao, this is the first important ingredient, cacao powder. So this is what I use at the cacao butter. Yeah, those are two important ingredients. I buy them from Vivapura because it's a company that's local and they produce everything here. You can go buy directly from their store, or you can, also the health food store carry their product. And you're going to need dates. Everybody's familiar, those are medjool dates, yes. I like medjool because they're sweeter than the maglet. And they're also, softer. They break down very easily in your food processor. But if you had dates that were too hard, or you can always soak them in hot water for a few, or warm water, for a couple hours. They will soften. But those don't require anything. You're going to need some coconut oil. So I put some. So your coconut oil is great because at a certain temperature it will melt, and then at a certain temperature it will get hard. In the winter, generally, your coconut oil gets hard, and it's very nice to set up dessert. It's very tasty, and this is a very important ingredient. Those almonds have been, they're raw almonds. That means they haven't been processed or heated in any way. And I soak them. You soak them for about 8 hours. So that give a chance for the life that's inside of them to come out. So they're not sprouted, but they're alive. And then I dehydrate them for about 24 hours. So they get nice and hard. So this is the process you have to do with your almonds. So they're soaked and then they're dehydrated.
Do you have to rinse the water?
If you don't have a dehydrator, you could put them in a very low temperature oven. You would have to watch them. They'll probably, harden very quick. So what I will do with the oven is, put it on the lowest setting that you can and keep the door slightly up. And so, you don't want to toast your almonds, which, probably be fine, but it will change the flavor. So you would have it more toasted, when the nuts are toasted, their flavor kind of becomes, they become toasted, they have a stronger flavor. I'm not quite sure what you would call that. And I use Himalayan salt, so make sure you have, when you're using, even in everyday cooking, don't use salt that has been bleached or whatever they do to the salt, which is probably doesn't have any nutrition left, no minerals. You have to. That's why they sell salt at the store, and then they have to have more iodine in it because it's already been cleaned of it. So this is Himalayan sea salt. Himalayan salt. But a good sea salt will also do the trick. And then the last product I'm going to use is coconut nectar. So this is a sweetener that I like. So we have cacao, the cacao butter, almonds, coconut oil, dates, salt, and coconut nectar. You could use maple syrup. That works very good.
I have a question about the almonds when you're soaking them.
Yeah.
How many times is it necessary to rinse them? Or do you have to...
Well, yeah, so you soak them and then you rinse it.
Just once is good?
Yes, that's why for about 8 hours. Generally what I do, I put them to soak at night and in the morning they're ready. So I will rinse them out. Yeah, what it does is because most nuts have an enzyme inhibitor on them. Yeah, that prevents, easy digestion. So, nuts can be very intense on your, Lillian would say, the liver, gallbladder. So it's a process that's important. Whether it's walnuts or almonds, most nuts, even the seeds like sunflower, pumpkins. I soak just about everything, and then you rinse them out. So you get you can see your water will be colored, and then and then you just put them on a tray, let them dry completely so they get nice and toasty, and they're really good like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm not going to need much coconut oil, but a little bit. So this is a process I go through. I just kind of put that in hot water and let my coconut oil melt. In the summer, you don't have to worry about. This is about 2 ounces of cacao butter, and I'm making a recipe here that's going to make about, that it makes about 50 bowls that size. So it's quite a lot of butter. So when you make it, it will preserve for a long time. So you make it once, you have it for your whole holiday season. And so this is putting it right into my pot. So I have 2 ounces. It's going to melt pretty easily. I just had enough left of that. A chance, so that way the salt get a chance to dissolve a little bit, so you don't have. You could throw your salt right into your food processor, but then it might, you might have a clump of salt in one truffle, and and then none in the other. That way, it's going to be harmoniously distributed. And again, this is. Let it run. I'm going to turn that off. Now I have what we call, like crumbs. Yes, but I want it finer than that. So I'm using the almonds, but at the same time, if I leave them as a crumbs, I'm trying to make it more creamy. You could leave them like that, and you will have little chunks of almonds in your truffles, and that will be very good as well. So, once I'm giving you a basic recipe, and then you're going to find out that the possibilities are limitless, as far as flavorings. Some people put goji berries right into their chocolate. It's very good. You could, like I said, I've used shiitake mushrooms. Some of you have some ideas of what to flavor, vanilla, almonds, what? Chili pepper. Yeah, I did put some, those ones have chipotle pepper in it. A little chipotle, just a little touch, so you can do that. So while that's, you see how the texture is already changing, yes? It's, if I let it run long enough, it will turn into a nut butter. But you have to make nut butter out of any nuts. They have to be totally dry. So now it's very easy. I'm gonna take my cacao, and I'm gonna put about, so I said 14 dates, yes, you all got that? And then I'm gonna put, I'm gonna sift my cacao. When you got cacao like that, it has a little clumps, and you can see, big clumps, little cluster. It's like a meteorite. You want to break it down into powder. I'm gonna use a good. I'm always generous with my measuring. I don't know, it comes from my mom probably. So it's a good 2 cups of cacao. And if you have a sifter, one of those hand sifter, you can use it, but that works really good. And I just use my finger to kind of make it go through the. And because it's so sticky, I don't like to put it in my cups. It's like I pour it directly into my thing, and I just kind of guess. So a bottle like that makes me about 5 recipes. My cacao butter right in there. And I don't want to waste any. So I want to pour everything in there. But I always like to put a little bit of coconut butter. Coconut oil. And I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of that, so that's it. Yeah, it's not much, and this is the last thing I add. And then I'm going to, normally I would have a measuring spoon and I, just put 2 tablespoons, but if you have a good eye, if you put too much of that, when you bring it to room temperature, the coconut oil, if the temperature, generally in your room, even in the winter, if it's heated, it's going to be too warm, and then it's going to make your truffle sticky, and then you have coconut oil everywhere. So I only put a little bit. So 2 tablespoons is plenty for that recipe. And I'm just going to pour it in that bowl. So now, what I like to do is I'm going to take that little bowl. I'm going to dry that. Now that rag is clean. And I'm going to put, it's going to take about an extra ounce of cacao. I'm just going to run it a little bit. This is to coat, to coat your truffles. You have to put a little. I put several in my bowl like that and just shake them out. So it coats with the.
Oh, nice.
And I just shake them out a little bit like that. And then I put them in my plates. So it's going to fill up that plate, generally. And then I put them in the refrigerator a little bit for an hour or so. So they get a little harder. And then I put them in jars like that. And if I have different batches, I have to label them so I know what they are.